Qin Shi Huang was an incredibly accomplished ruler and military general of the Chinese Qin dynasty born on February 18 in 259 BC. He was emperor of the Qin dynasty from 221 to 210 BCE and the creator of the first unified Chinese empire. He is also known for his interest in immortality, his huge funerary compound that contains some 8,000 life-size terracotta soldiers, and for his contribution to the Great Wall of China. Modern Chinese sources often give the personal name of Qin Shi Huang as Ing Zhang, with Ing taken as the surname and Zhang the given name. However, in ancient China, the naming convention differed, and the clan name Zhao, the place where he was born and raised, may be used as the surname. Unlike modern Chinese names, the nobles of ancient China had two distinct surnames. The ancestral name comprised a larger group descended from a prominent ancestor, usually said to have lived during the time of the three sovereigns and five emperors of Chinese legend, and the clan name comprised a smaller group that showed a branch's current fief or recent title. The ancient practice was to list men's names separately. Sima Qian's Basic Annals of the First Emperor of Qin introduces him as given the name Zhang and the surname Zhao, or to combine the clan surname with the personal name. Sima's account of Chu describes the 16th year of the reign of King Kaili as the time when Zhao Zhang was enthroned as king of Qin. Whether Qin Shi Huang should be remembered more for his monumental creations and cultural advances or his brutal tyranny is a matter of dispute. All scholars agree, however, that Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of the Qin dynasty and a unified China, was one of the most important rulers in Chinese history. He is portrayed as a strict legalist, in part from the Han dynasty's scathing assessments of him. Since the mid-20th century, scholars have begun to question this evaluation, inciting considerable discussion on the actual nature of his policies and reforms. Regardless, according to sinologist Michael Lowy, few would contest the view that the achievements of his reign have exercised a paramount influence on the whole of China's subsequent history, marking the start of an epoch that closed in 1911. Another historian, Ma Feibai, published in 1941 a full-length revisionist biography of the first emperor entitled Qin Shi Huang Di Thuan, calling him one of the great heroes of Chinese history. Ma compared him with the contemporary leader Chiang Kai-shek and saw many parallels in the careers and policies of the two men, both of whom he admired. Chiang's northern expedition of the late 1920s, which directly preceded the new nationalist government at Nanjing, was compared to the unification brought about by Qin Shi Huang. Although a tyrant, Emperor Qin was a skilled leader. He also ordered that most of the existing books be burned. He wanted history to begin with his rule and the Qin dynasty. Those scholars who did not bring their books to be burned were killed. Qin Shi Huang may be most famous for his tomb. He had over 700,000 workers constructing his tomb throughout his life. The state of Qin initially had the advantage of location and skill in horsemanship. It was said to have been founded by descendants of Gao Yang, also given as Zhuanshu, one of the legendary, pre-dynastic five emperors said to have ruled from 2852 to 2070 BCE. Much later, the eighth monarch of the Zhou dynasty, King Xiao, c. 872 to 866 BCE, took notice of a young man of the Ying family, Fizi, d. 858 BCE, who was skilled in breeding horses and rewarded him with lands in the valley of Qin. The Qin state, therefore, came to be associated with horses and with the high level of horsemanship developed by the Zhou. The Qin also had control of the western lands and, possibly, an association or alliance with the Shirong people who were excellent horsemen and fierce fighters. Emperor Qin also had a vast network of roads and canals built throughout the country. This helped to improve trade and travel. He also began the building of the Great Wall of China. He had many of the existing walls throughout the country connected to form a long wall that would protect China from the invaders to the north. Finally, Qin Shi Huang extended the construction of the Great Wall of China, one of the greatest construction feats of all time, to protect his nation. 700,000 forced laborers were used in building the wall, and thousands of them were crushed beneath the massive gray rocks. The wall was roughly 1,500 miles long, and wide enough for 6 horses to gallop abreast along the top. The nation's first standing army, possibly consisting of millions, guarded the wall from northern invaders. Huang died while traveling on a tour of eastern China in 210 BC. His second son, Huai, was on the trip with him. He wanted to become emperor, so he hid his father's death and forged a letter from his father to his older brother telling him to commit suicide. After his brother killed himself, Huai became emperor. Thanks for listening to this biography from famous figures of history. I hope you learned something.